Welcome and a very good morning to all of you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to wish you very cordial welcome. My name is Daniela Zlatić Šutić, and I'm an acting assistant director from the Intellectual Property Office of the Republic of Serbia. First of all, I wish to thank you all for responding to invitation for participation in this event, Leveling Up Your IP, Strategies for Video Games Developers, which for the first time is taking place in Serbia. It is organized under auspices of the World Intellectual Property Organization and the Intellectual Property Office of the Republic of Serbia, along with Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Serbia, Serbian Games Association, and the Supercluster Creative Tech Serbia. We have over 270 registered participants who will be following the event in this hybrid format. Also, I have the pleasure to express my gratitude to all the lecturers that will contribute to deepening our knowledge of IPR management in this fast-growing branch of industry by sharing with us their experiences. Before we take a look into the world of virtual reality and learn how to protect its contents, starting from the very idea for the developing of video games, software, illustration, music, screenplay, and other expressions relevant for the protection by intellectual property rights, allow me to invite the representatives of the event co-organizers to take the floor and give their opening speeches. As simultaneous translation has been secured, I hope it works. A plan from this point on is to switch from English to Serbian. So, pozivam sada predstavnika Privredne komore Srbije, gospodina Mihaila Vesovića, direktora sektora za strateške analize, usluge internacionalizacije, da nam se obrati. Gospodine Vesović, izvolite.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone, especially to co-organizers of this event, our guests from World Intellectual Property Organization, of course, Intellectual Property Office of the Republic of Serbia, and of course the co-organizers of this event, Creative Tech Serbia, as a new cluster created recently, and of course Serbian Gaming Association as a main pillar of this industry. There is no better time to talk about the most important part of the business model for the gaming industry and its intellectual property rights. Everybody who is involved in this understands and knows that we are living in the time where the gaming industry is a really industry in the right place, with amounting over $200 billion annually. It's beginning to be the force of the development, not just the digital part, but also the creative part of industry. It's the industry where it's intertwined different aspects from the graphic design to the storytelling. Everything is involved. At the end, it ends up on the digital part, and it's a huge industry, and Serbia has its own place on this map, and I'm very happy about it. More than 130 teams or companies working, employing somewhere around 3,000 people, so it's very important. But why intellectual property right is in the middle of this game? Because it's not the big studios that are running the game today, because we turn to the different platforms such as Steam that really invited the new innovative companies that can develop the game in 1 year and be on the market and have direct users paying them directly. And if they don't protect their intellectual property right, they are in the problem. So that's the middle of it. It is a boring legal stuff, but at the same time, it's something that can really support and help your business in the future. For example, there is a whole trend of going back to the games from the beginning of the arcades in the 80s while I was growing up, and then recently I don't have time to waste for 10 days playing 10 hours. I want to play 1 hour's Phoenix or something like very simple. And the people who own the rights of the intellectual property now are basically reimbursing themselves and getting back in the game because this is really capital. So this is why we are today. This is why all these organizations are getting involved in this matter. And I think that it's very important to have the organization such as clusters, institutions like intellectual property rights organization, and of course Chamber of Commerce, who can support this business and talk about things, how to improve your business, how to protect your business, and how to place yourself on the world map. I wish you a very good day today, and I hope that everyone here will at least learn or find somebody who can be or who can answer the question on the intellectual property rights, because it's a field where we have experts, but not enough. So we need to reach out and search for the experiences of the international organizations. Thank you very much.
Zahvaljujem gospodinu Vesoviću, on kao uvek ispred Privredne komore uvek ima dobre podatke, a nadam se da ćemo o tome danas i detaljnije mnogo više čuti, ali znate, evo da kažem, kuća koja stoji iza vas za poslovanje. A sada bih pozvala ispred Zavoda za intelektualnu svojinu da nam se obrati direktor Zavoda, gospodin Vladimir Marić. Gospodine Marić, izvolite.
Thank you, and very good morning to everybody. I would like to deliver my speech in my native language. So for those of you who are not familiar with Serbian, please put your hands up for the translation. Poštovane dame i gospodo, poštovani učesnici seminara, sa velikim zadovoljstvom vas pozdravljam i želim vam dobrodošlicu na seminaru posvećenom pravnoj zaštiti videoigara. Seminar organizuje Svetska organizacija za intelektualnu svojinu WIPO, bez sumnje najvažnija međunarodna institucija koja se bavi zaštitom ovih prava. Zavod za intelektualnu svojinu Srbije ima dugogodišnju uspešnu saradnju sa WIPO-om, pa i ovaj seminar samo jedan u nizu primjera takve saradnje. Pozdravljam naše drage goste, predstavnike WIPO-a koji su danas sa nama ovde u Beogradu. Pozdravljam i koorganizatore ovog skupa, predstavnike Privredne komore, Srpske asocijacije videoigara i konzorcijima Creative Tech Serbia. Svi mi svedočimo neverovatno brzom i dinamičnom tehnološkom razvoju savremenog sveta. Menjaju se i usložnjavaju forme i načini iskorišćavanja autorskih dela, pa iz tog razloga i pravo intelektualne svojine mora neprestano da se menja i prilagođava zahtevima novog vremena. Takođe, raste i značaj prava intelektualne svojine. 70. godina prošlog veka udeo takozvanih nematerijalnih dobara, dakle patenata, žigova, industrijskog dizajna i tako dalje, u imovini jednog preduzeća iznosio je 17%. Danas je taj procenat 85%. Čitave privredne grane, čitave industrije počivaju na intelektualnoj svojini. Svako moderno društvo mora zato da vodi računa o zaštiti intelektualne svojine, pored ostalog i tako što će raditi na obrazovanju u ovoj oblasti, pre svega svojih privrednika i akademskih građana, ali i svih drugih koji učestvuju u kulturnom ili ekonomskom životu naše zemlje. Osnovni zadatak države jeste da u ovoj oblasti donese kvalitetne propise i postavi pravila igre koja su jasna i poštena i da ih dosledno primenjuje. Zašto je to važno? Važno je zato što država od toga zarađuje. 5% bruto domaćeg proizvoda stvaraju kreativne industrije, a polovina tog iznosa nam dolazi iz IT sektora. Takođe, važno je zbog naše dobre reputacije na međunarodnoj sceni. Nijedan investitor neće doći u zemlju u kojemu sudovi i administracija ne garantuju zaštitu njegove intelektualne svojine. Iznad svega, važno je da podržimo i ohrabrimo naše ljude, naročito mlade ljude, da ostanu u ovoj zemlji tako što ćemo im garantovati zaštitu njihovih dela, bilo da su softverski stručnjaci, umetnici ili se bave nekom drugom vrstom kreativnog rada. Stalno i bez trunke okolišanja treba isticati važnost intelektualne svojine, važnost ovih prava za razvoj jedne moderne i uspešne ekonomije kakva bi naša morala da bude. U svom govoru na ovogodišnjem otvaranju Generalne skupštine Svetske organizacije, generalni direktor WIPO-a, gospodin Darren Tang, istakao je da intelektualna svojina ne sme da bude elitistička oblast, kojom se bavi mali broj probranih stručnjaka i poslovnih ljudi. Intelektualna svojina mora da bude pristupačna i razumljiva većini ljudi, pronalazačima i autorima, iako smem da upotrebim tu reč, običnom svetu. Naša iskustva u Zavodu govore da prosječan preduzetnik u Srbiji razmišlja o intelektualnoj svojini tek onda kada upadne u neki problem sa intelektualnom svojinom ili kada mu je ona potrebna da stupi u neki ugovorni odnos, najčešće sa nekim stranim partnerom. Država preko svojih institucija kao što su Zavod za intelektualnu svojinu i Privredna komora, na primjer, moraju da učine koliko god može da se to promeni. Današnji seminar donosi nam neke ekskluzivne teme koje će nam prezentovati stručnjaci s velikim znanjem i velikim praktičnim iskustvom. Verujem da su ovo stvari koje ne mogu da se čuju baš na svakom koraku i da svi mi treba da iskoristimo današnju šansu da naučimo nešto novo i uspostavimo neka nova poznanstva i kontakte. Dobro je što Srbija ima mlade, pametne i kreativne ljude na krilima čijeg talenta profitira naša, pa čak i svetska industrija videoigara. Treba međutim da zapamtimo jedno. Kičma na koju se industrija videoigara oslanja i bez koje ne bi mogla da postoji, to je intelektualna svojina. Zato nam je potrebno da imamo ovakve seminare, da nam pomognu da bolje razumemo s čime raspolažemo i kako da to što imamo najpametnije upotrebimo. Želim vam svima uspešan seminar.
Zahvaljujem gospodine Mariću na vašem govoru, a sada bih pozvala predstavnika Asocijacije industrije videoigara Srbije, gospodina Relju Bobića, koji je programski direktor ove asocijacije i bez kojih praktično ne bismo mogli ovaj događaj da održimo. Evo, izvolite.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniela. In front of the SGA, I would like to thank everyone for enrolling into the seminar, and of course to all of the involved partners. We are especially privileged to be working with WIPO, with whom we had some initial contacts a while ago, and now it is really great to see such an all-day event happening in Belgrade, and also the event having an impact also on our colleagues from the region and hopefully also beyond, because we are doing it on an international level. I will just briefly reflect on the role of IP in the domain of video games. As we all know, the ICT sector in Serbia over the last years has gone a big, immense growth. And gaming, together with blockchain initiatives, were actually seen as one of the most innovative and most promising niches of the sector. And basically, just the other day, I also read the information that the three largest acquisitions in Serbia that happened in the ICT sector were all three top acquisitions were related to the gaming sector, and these are some of the founders of the SGA as well, the companies which went through these acquisitions. So what is important to stress is that these companies were not acquired for their, let's say, outsourcing potential or the quantity of their workforce, but the IP was actually always at the center, and not always IP in the sense of products such as a game, but also IP as technology, as hardware. I'm specifically talking about the company Trilateral from Novi Sad, of course, which was acquired by Epic Games. So this is something that is really encouraging, that we have such a level of innovation happening in Serbia in this sector. What is also happening the other way around in the recent years is that because of some of these acquisitions, companies from Serbia will be able to work on very well-known international, eventually expensive IPs that are owned by their parent companies. So this is something that we will see, I think, in the next couple of years, that some of our members are going to be hopefully working on AA+, AAA, maybe even titles that will be related to some famous global franchises. I would also like to mention that in Serbia, among the SGA members and beyond, because we don't cover 100% of the industry, as much as 57% of our members are working on original IPs. I would say this is a pretty high percentage, and we have only around 8% of companies working on pure outsourcing, which is, I think, compared to the rest of the domestic ICT sector, I would say probably the best result when it comes to looking at the original intellectual property. The SGA also, since we started doing programs, we are collaborating with many legal experts, and I would like to thank some of them who will be taking part in the program today, from Medhead Games, from Karanović and Partners legal office. And this was always one of the main, let's say, support schemes that we were offering to our members, and this is the legal support. On one hand, when they are starting up, around registering companies and so on, but also all the things that are related to intellectual property. For the end, I would just like to mention also the Creative Tech Serbia initiative that is also supporting this event, and which is a new, let's say, platform, a new cluster that SG is leading together with more than 20 other partners from the sector. And with this initiative, we are going to go a bit also beyond the gaming industry. So we want to look at the so-called creative tech sector as a whole, which means also film post-production, creative digital product development, and so on. So with the results that we made as a sector and as an association over the last years, we would like to kind of spread this impact and also work with other industries that are complementary to the gaming industry. So I would finish on that note. I would like to wish you all a very inspiring and fruitful day, and to thank again all the participants and all the partners, and especially Daniela and her colleagues for getting us involved in the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Relja, for giving us an insight what will happen in the future. And one thing which was interesting when we started organizing this conference is that we are always, speaking about IP, how many IPRs do you have when they are discussing among them. So we will hear today far more than I think than you mentioned here. So now we have the privilege to welcome the representative of World Intellectual Property Organization that initiated this and supported this event in Serbia. It is Mrs. Virag Halgand, Head of Department for Countries in Transition and Developed Countries from the section for Central Baltic States and Mediterranean States. Mrs. Halgand shall address us online, so I see Virag here. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Daniela. On behalf of the World Intellectual Property Organization, I would like to warmly welcome all the participants in Belgrade and online, and thank our co-organizers who joined forces with us around this very important event. We have, of course, a very fruitful cooperations with the IP Office of the Republic of Serbia, our close partner, with our friend Vladimir, Marić, Daniela, and thank you so much for organizing and making all these arrangements to make this event happen. We are, of course, delighted to also collaborate around this exciting new topic with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Serbian Game Association, and also the Creative Tech Serbia. These joint initiatives of different actors providing support to businesses are key to build interest and engagement of the entrepreneurs and provide them with industry-specific practical knowledge that is needed for their development and success on the global markets. As was mentioned by Vladimir, it's not that we would like the developers to come when they have a problem, but think about IP from the early onset. As we have going to hear from a video, WIPO video on IP and video games, and already mentioned by different colleagues, the gaming industry is a leading tech industry, biggest in the creative sector, bigger than movie and music merged. As was mentioned, worth over 200 billion US dollar in 2022, and now we see new reports coming that it will worth more than 300 billion in 3 years. And the industry showed also great resilience to the pandemic, with new huge growth and in demand. At the same time, we know as well that game development also had its challenges and delays due to the adjustment to remote working. The Central European and Baltic and Balkan region, our focus audience today, is home to a great amount of talent and successful stories in the gaming industry. We also heard this from the Serbian Game Association, and we're really happy to hear these figures that you have mentioned. But also let's mention others from the region, like CD Projekt Red or Zaum from Estonia, or Bohemia Interactive, Beat Games, and those, of course, who are here with us today, Madhead Games, Wargaming, People Can Fly. And I would really like to thank them for being present today and share their stories and experience to the benefit of all the game developers of the region and even worldwide, globally. Our objective today is to level up the skills on IP and provide practical tools to game developers from Serbia and beyond to grow resilient businesses with the help of IP. It's really IP is the backbone of this business. We have great leading IP and industry experts today who will help us achieve this objective. We would like to thank our partner that we are more and more working closely with, the European Game Developer Federation, and the representative Andra, who is joining us right after my speech. Thank you for being again present for our events. And we have others like Gaetano, Kate, Christina, Goran, Zorica, Maruta. Just to mention them, they are really, thank you so much for being here today to share your great experience around this topic with us. And finally, let me just thank my colleague Ryszard, who was really coordinated this event, and he's the project lead from our side, who is with you, has the pleasure to be with you in Belgrade, and being there and available for any type of other questions. He will, of course, also talk about our new project that we are going to start very soon with podcasts and clinics for the game developers. So he's there, and please reach out to him and through him to us in Geneva. And with that, I just wanted to mention some small thing. I hope that the new next hits that will be on the shelves of all the kids also in Geneva and worldwide will be from some of you in the audience. And for example, my son will not wait for the release of the Tears of the Kingdom from Zelda, but will wait from one of your hits from the region, from Serbia and or some of the other countries. Thank you so much for your attention. I wish you really a great event and look forward to your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and a very good morning to everyone. Just to quickly start by joining Virag and thanking, of course, the co-organizers, the IP office, the Chamber of Commerce, SGA, as well as the supercluster. These are really excellent arrangements, and we feel together with the speakers who have arrived in Belgrade, the famous Serbian hospitality from the very beginning. I have to admit that when packing yesterday for the event, I was wondering, do I take the suit or do I perhaps take my Doom t-shirt? Why? On the one side, because video games, like it was already said, is a serious, huge business. It's the most creative industry currently, worth $200 billion. On the other side, it is young, energetic, full of young people, and very often actually really just fun. I went with the suit. It's maybe not so visible. It's actually a casual shoe suit with patch pockets. But also because I'm still representing a UN family organization, and originally, because I can't say anymore, but originally I'm a lawyer, so I kind of, you could say I was born in a little suit and a little tie. So that's why I ended up feeling comfortable still with the suit, but I'll be taking off my jacket any moment. Let me also add why I will be smiling all day today, and not because I'm wearing my suit. I'm smiling because video games are the reason why I am in intellectual property. Some 25 years ago, when playing, perhaps some of you might still remember, Diablo 2, I was collecting a lot of my gear for my paladin at that time. And during one of these exchanges with another player, my account was hacked and all my equipment was stolen. 25 years ago, I did not decide to go to a police station and report that my virtual sword, virtual hammer, and virtual armor was actually stolen. So I decided to look into it just myself, and that's the first time I actually stumbled upon intellectual property in video games. So I'm smiling because I am passionate about intellectual property and video games. What is perhaps even more important for everyone gathered here is that we are joined by world-class experts who are as passionate as you as in video games, and they play video games themselves, of course, I know very well. And at the same time, they have a lot of love for intellectual property as well. And IP, intellectual property, is at the heart of each video game. As it was also really very well mentioned, from graphic designers to programmers, music composers, actors, storytellers, game directors, they all benefit from the IP system, and today, that's the objective of the event today. We want to help them, help you better understand how to use that IP system for your benefit. And let me stress here as a moderator, and I'm putting on that moderator hat, really, don't be shy. Take that opportunity that you have these world-class experts with us here. Ask questions throughout the whole event, interact during the break, ask your questions. We are all here to support in the end the video game sector here in Serbia, as well, of course, in the end for our international event in the region and internationally. I will be sharing the moderation with Anastassia, who will support me online. Anastassia, I don't know if you are there, and over to you for a moment.
Thank you, Ryszard. Thank you, everyone. And a warm welcome also from the online moderation deck. I will not take too much of your time. We're excited to have so many of you present today, both in person and online at the regional seminar on leveling up your IP. I will join the thanks to the organizers, to the expert speakers, event and technical support, which are more important than ever, especially while holding hybrid events, as well as a big thanks to our participants who made this event possible as well. So I will be engaging with the online participants on Zoom. Please don't hesitate to share your questions via the Q&A tab on Zoom. The Q&A button can be found at the bottom lane of your Zoom window. Please also look out for further information and links in the chat. I will be sharing additional resources as we move from session to session and throughout the day. Thank you so much. And now I give back the floor to Ryszard, who will continue the moderation of the event on site. Over to you, Ryszard. Thank you.
And just quick housekeeping rules a bit. So if you're like me and you're passionate about what you're going to be speaking about, please keep to your time. We just want to keep to that schedule, and I'm the first person who would love to speak for hours about IP and video games, or the last game I played, explaining many things about it. So a kind reminder to keep to the time, as well as a kind reminder because we are interpreting. So of course, all the interpreters hopefully will be thank you very much if you can speak as slowly as possible.